Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, Say What's Real TV. This review is for the mid-season finale for Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 6, Episode 11, No Turning Back. So we open up the episode exactly where we left off, with Preston coming out of the bathroom with Danny's work uniform on. And Danny is looking at him like, what is going on? What is wrong with you? I need you to go take that off. And Preston, he is still out of it. He is still high as a kite the next morning. And she is like, you need to snap out of it. Preston, he wants to talk to the stove. He wants to lock it with his eyes. He ends up calling Zach on the phone and just start rambling off all kind of crazy stuff. And Zach is like, what is going on over here? Like, what are you talking about? So Danny, she gets on the phone and she tells Zach, like, I need you to come over here. I need your help. Zach is pretty much like, I don't know what y'all got going on, but she begs him to come over, so he agrees. So Zach, he gets over there and he sees Preston all in the boots and the skirt. And he was like, oh, y'all got something freaky going on over here. Like, what's going on? What's up? So Danny tells Zach that she gave Preston some weed and he's trying to snap Preston out of it. And he was like, and he's still tripping like this? He said, this is some BS. So he started talking to Preston, telling Preston, look, you're going to have to go get up out her uniform before you stretch it out. Preston started trying to get undressed. He was like, go on in the bathroom. We don't want to see your little white behind. So Zach says, just go on in there. We'll make you some coffee. And Preston says, just remember, I want it strong and black. And he gives the little eye wink, and Danny is so embarrassed. Zach looks at Danny like, no, he didn't. Like, did he really just say that? So Zach then looks at Danny like, Danny, what is that? What's going on? She tells him that she just gave him some weed, like she's never seen anybody act like that before, except for him that one time. And Zach was like, well, I understand how he feels. Don't bring that up. And Zach tells her, look, I don't have time for this. So when Preston comes out of the bathroom, he has his shirt all on backwards, and they looking at him crazy. He's still talking crazy. So Zach is like, are you good? He said, I'm good, my ninja. And Zach looking like, what did you say? And Danny, she's looking like, oh my God, like, no, he didn't. And Preston was getting ready to say it again. So Zach tried to act like he was getting ready to beat him up, and Preston then turned all the way around, fighting in the opposite direction. Zach like, look, I don't have time for this. I gotta go. So Danny keeps begging for Zach to stay to help her. And Zach is like, look, he's fine. He's fine. Preston, are you okay? Preston is like, yeah, I'm fine. Zach tells her, look, it's just weed.
Make her some coffee. Make it black. Okay? And strong. See?
Don't leave.
Wait, what was that?
This is stupid. You're stupid.
I gotta go.
So this was really just the comedic relief of the entire episode, because these three had a good time filming. You could tell they were just going with the flow of whatever and holding in their laughter the whole time. So Zach is trying to get up out of the door, and Danny's like, no, please stay. He's not okay. Zach like, he'll be all right. He'll be fine. I gotta go. I got places to go and people to see. So he ends up leaving out the door, and Danny is like, man, people get money and they change. So she ends up sitting Preston down in a chair and telling him, look, I got to go get dressed for work. And Preston's like, I got this. I got this. So he in there quoting Denzel from Training Day, talking about King Kong ain't got nothing on me, and called Danny a couple of bees. And she's like, what? So Preston, he immediately turns to the stove talking about, oh, shit. And Danny said, yeah, you better look at the stove and make it lock. All right now, Preston, don't let the weed get you messed up now, because Danny don't play. Do y'all think Danny gonna bring that back up when he turns sober? Because she not gonna forget what he said. So we go over there to Maurice and Calvin's, and he's just now coming home from being over with Sabrina. And Maurice, he's in there acting all sad and depressed. So Calvin, he notices, because, Maurice usually has this big personality. He's the diva. And Calvin is like, well, what's wrong with you? So Maurice tells him that he went down and turned himself in, and he told him that he was responsible, this and that and the other. And of course, Calvin then went ballistic. What? Why'd you do that? You can't do that. All of that. Maurice just saying, look, it's already been done. There's nothing you can do about it. He calls Sabrina on the phone, tells Sabrina what Maurice did. And of course, Sabrina goes into all of that. No, he can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And, she's like, I'll be right over there. And they hang up, and Maurice tells Calvin, like, I don't know why you called her, like, it's already done. So Calvin found a way not to go to work and said he gonna move some stuff around because Maurice is not gonna do what he said he was gonna do, which Maurice keep telling him it's already done and there's nothing you could do about it. He just waiting for the people to give him a call to tell him to come back on down there. The whole storyline is dumb as hell. This is my least favorite storyline. For real, for real. Like, it makes absolutely no sense at all. So Sabrina and Danny, they have a phone conversation where they're trying to cancel their plans to go over to Karen's house. And Danny tells her that she gave Preston some weed and he's tripping, so she needs to cater to him. And Sabrina tells that Maurice went and confessed to the bank robbery and she needs to go see about him. And Danny was like, well, hell, it's kind of his fault. Like, if it gets you off, let him do them 15 years for you. Like, I don't see the problem. And Sabrina's like, no, Danny, no. Like, that's her friend. She doesn't want that from Maurice. She says it's all Q's fault. Danny like, whatever, girl. Like, look, I got to get off the phone because Preston over here tripping. So Sabrina, she finally makes it over there to Maurice and Calvin's. And she tells Calvin, thanks for calling me. She come in with that orange and black popping. She was looking real nice. Calvin then went over there and put on him a little suit or whatever. Maurice still standing in the kitchen with the same clothes on as if they can't even sit down on the couch. Like, why y'all standing up? So Sabrina, she keeps trying to plead with Maurice like, I can't let you do this. You can't do this. I won't let it happen. You cannot let Q win. And she told him that she talked to the attorney, Michael, and he's saying that you should not be doing this. And Maurice's response to everything is, it's already been done and there's nothing you can do about it. So Sabrina, she asked him, like, what time are you supposed to go down to the precinct? And Maurice is like, he's waiting for them to call him back when they're ready for him. Like, where do they do that at? But anyway, she was like, well, I can have Michael meet you down there. And Maurice, he doesn't want that. And Sabrina wants to know, why are you doing this? And he tells her, basically, she had nothing to do with it, and he wants to make everything right to try to clear her name. Maurice tells them that Q has already talked to the DA, and he's going to get off, so there's nothing else left to do. And he says he's going to get dressed, and Sabrina and Calvin realize there's no getting through to Maurice. So Maurice comes out after he's changed clothes and says that the people called him and said that they're ready for him to come turn himself in. And, he gets him a little drink of wine and all of that. And Sabrina says that she was going and Calvin was going with him down there. And she says, well, if you insist on going, then let me call Michael. So she calls Michael and says that they were ready for Maurice. And Michael said that he would meet them down there after he finished his little court case. So I guess Maurice felt a little bit better because now he's making jokes about Calvin just want to go down there to the jail so he can see the men that's running around. So they head over there to the jail. So they walk all up in the precinct, and Maurice, he strolls all over there to Logan and says he's ready. Sabrina and Calvin trying to get him to change his mind, and he's telling Sabrina, like, look, girl, don't say I never did nothing for you. I'll see y'all on the other side. They still talking to him, and Sabrina talking about the attorney, and Logan saying we ain't got all day to be waiting on him, basically. And Maurice was like he was ready. So he allowed Logan to go on and take him on in. He told him he'll meet him at the crossroads. And Logan was like, bring your ass on. So Sabrina and Calvin, they just stood there looking worried. And Sabrina was like, I don't want him doing this for me. And they said they don't even know if it's going to work or not. So she went to digging in her purse looking for her phone because now she's getting ready to call Andy. So we head over there to the salon and we see Aaron and Pam cleaning up the salon with some of the clients. Mainly Aaron, not so much Pam. Pam just over there looking cute and stuff in her heels. So here comes Zach, and he basically, he makes all his jokes telling them they look like two snowmen and this and that and the other. So Zach hands Pam the check and tells her that it's for Karen for the salon, and if she needs any more, to give him a call. So he basically is trying to throw a shot at Aaron, try to make Aaron feel some kind of way about it, but at the same time, you already spoke with Fatima, and you were supposed to drop this check off and call it a day and be done. No more talking, no more nothing. So it's no, have her call me. Like, Zach just does and says things and then turn around and play victim as if, I've never had this happen before, or I didn't know that, or I've never been taught that. And, always try to make it seem like it was so innocent, not realizing the consequences can affect a lot of different people in different ways. And then he wants you to just accept it and roll with it and just go with the flow. Like, sir, it doesn't work like that. You need to grow up and stop, doing all that extra stuff all the time. So Zach, he leaves and Pam is joking with him about his car looking nice and it matches her outfit. And she tells him that if him and Fatima break up, maybe she could spin the block, I guess, in the car. And I'm like, all right, Pam. So Aaron's standing there looking like he getting jealous. And she was like, I know you not getting jealous. And he was like, man, I ain't studying that mess. So Aaron had the audacity to ask Pam to go take these garbage bags to the dumpster. And I'm like, wait a minute, why you can't take them to the dumpster? Why you asking Pam? Pam told him she was done and that she got him because she'll follow him over there, but she wasn't getting ready to pick him up and take him over there. He gonna talk about, oh, that's ridiculous. I'm like, Aaron, you're the one that wanted the salon cleaned up. Like, I know you already know Pam wasn't doing nothing. So we head over there to the law firm and we see Andy finishing up with a client, and then all of a sudden Gary pops up with Hayden. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why Gary is at this law firm every single day. Him and Zach. Every other day they there for whatever reason. It's so ridiculous. So Gary and Andy, they start talking to each other like they haven't seen each other in months of Sundays. They like, hey, how you doing? How you been? I'm like, you just saw each other last night. So she's like, oh, I'm getting ready to go into this meeting, acting like she all scared and nervous or whatever. And he's like, well, what is that? Like, what did I do? And she was like, no, I just got work. And he was like, well, don't you think you owe me an apology? And I was waiting for him to say, why does she owe you an apology? And she was like, oh, yeah, but no, not right now. I got work to do. And she runs off. And I'm like, I'm confused. I just feel like I might have missed a scene or something was cut out or something that we didn't see for Gary to be at her job looking for an apology. Like, you left her apartment saying you saw her true colors and you already knew what time it is. So I thought y'all would have been done. Not you still at her job stalking. So, of course, with Hayden standing there, he can't wait to be petty. So he starts messing with Gary and, they have their little back and forth about that's your girl, it's not your girl. At least I know what my girl at. And they go back and forth because Hayden hadn't heard from Tamara. And so Gary asked Hayden, did he want him to get somebody on her to try to find her? He was like, nah. And Gary was like, well, I see you keep checking your phone. And then you could tell they wanted to just laugh at each other. And Hayden was like, well, yeah, go ahead and do that for me because I'm stressed out, man, like good looking out. Like he tried to play hard, knowing he over there, his heart over there hurting, worried about where Tamara at. So Gary told him, I'll see what I can do. So then in walked Zach laughing, and Hayden was like, oh, this clown. And Gary was like, hey, nice to see you, Zach. And Zach shakes Gary's hand, totally ignores Hayden, all the while laughing in his face, and just basically walks off and tells Gary good to see him as well. So Hayden says, I can't stand him. And Gary's looking like, well, what's that all about? And then I'm confused again with Gary. Like all of season 5, Gary was telling Hayden, like, you need to leave that alone. Like, let the whole Fatima Zach thing go. Like, it made no sense. Now all of a sudden, he's oblivious to the whole situation. Like, what is really happening? So we then see one of the receptionists escorting Zach towards Fatima's office. As they are approaching, you hear this laughter coming from there. So Zach, he starts mocking the guy's laughter as he's walking in, talking about it's a whole lot of laughing going up in here. And Fatima's like, babe, this is such and such and such. So Zach goes to try to shake the man's hand, and he doesn't even acknowledge the hand. He was like, nice to meet you, Zach. For me, I really didn't like how Zach really walked in there like he owns the place, just acting a little cocky about things, like he just running the whole office or something. Like, come in, be professional, introduce yourself. How about button your shirt up? What if Kevin said we have an emergency hearing in front of the judge for this particular custody case and y'all have to go to court? You just gonna go in there with your chest all out with a gold chain hanging from your neck? Like, come on, Zach. You had on a 3-piece suit when you wanted Karen to sign some paperwork for some child support, but you go in here talking to some lawyer about custody with your chest out. But I do feel like Kevin, being a professional in this situation, should have at least shaken Zach's hand because he is a potential client. So you would still introduce yourself as a professional regardless. So I don't know if he was just in his feelings about the mocking of the laughter, or maybe he was just sizing Zach up, being judgmental, feeling like maybe Zach wasn't good enough for Fatima, because it's clear he has a little crush on Fatima. So then Kevin, he starts telling Zach like it's hard for the fathers to get custody, and being that he just established paternity, like it'll probably be a little worse for him. And then he tells them that there was no record on file of the neighbor even calling down there. But he does have a friend at child welfare he can call to try to see what he can come up with. And he wants to know that they get the lady's name. And Zach sitting there with an attitude like, no, I didn't. But Fatima was like, yeah, Margaret Taylor, da-da-da-da-da. She got the address, apartment number, all of that. So Kevin was like, Fatima, you always be on it. He gets up and he leaves. And Zach mocks his laugh once again in his little feelings. And Fatima was like, don't do all that. He just trying to help. And Zach looked like he's trying to help himself. I don't know how this is going to work out with Kevin. I don't know if he's going to help the situation with Michael or not. But I hope he does not become a problem when it comes to Zach and Fatima's relationship, because we're not going. So Zach, he brings up the fact that they have not had a conversation about what if he actually got custody of Michael. And she was like, oh, wait, come again? Like, you're trying to get full custody? And he was like, yeah, basically after he saw how Michael was living over there with Heather. So Fatima was under the impression that they would just get joint custody and he would give Heather a time to kind of get herself together. So Zach, he asks Fatima, are you saying that you're not ready? So she tells him no, she's not, and neither is he. So he agrees that he is not ready, but Fatima does say that they can't leave him there. So some kind of way Fatima ends up saying, does she have a choice? And Zach kind of goes off a little bit like, yeah, you do have a choice. Like, you always do this. It's the same cycle. I get into something and in the thick of things, you get an attitude. I'm like, well, where's all this coming from? Like, dude, you just sat here and said that we didn't have a conversation about something. So, yeah, I need to wrap my head around it and have some time to think about it. It's a lot. So, yeah, she said she was going to hold you down in the beginning, but every other day you coming up with something new that somebody got to continue to keep wrapping their head around. You are like a little gaslighter, and I feel like he kind of guilt tripping her into saying they need to do this. Like, Zach needs somebody that's going to be there to try to take care of them kids while he frolic around all over the city. Episode 1, you going to be there for the memories, you going to be there. She tell him about the meeting in the lawyer's office, you going to be there, you going to be there. Like, Fatima, you need to focus on you. Think about your future. Zach coming with this ready-made family, and you're going to have to continue to put your career on hold. You can't go back to school with no toddler because Zach wants you to be there. Zach want to make sure you be there when it come to these kids, but when it's time to go take Karen a check or go talk to Karen in a coffee shop, he don't ask you to come for that. He don't need you to be there for that. But anyway, so Fatima, she agrees that they need to get Michael from out of the situation, and that, if he does get custody, then they'll just deal with it. So now, all of a sudden, Zach, oh, you're the best, you're the absolute best until I make you mad. Then you're the worst. I'm like, child boo. So Fatima told him then, don't make me mad. So then Andy walks in Fatima's office and she comes in and have a seat, and they're looking like, excuse me, like, what are you doing here? She basically tells them she's hiding from Gary because he's just there to annoy her. So she was like, if y'all don't mind, I just want to hang out with my friends. And Zach looking around like, friends? So she was like, what's going on, And Zach like, you was there last night. So we see Karen making her way over there to the salon, and Aaron said he wanted to surprise her with the whole cleanup thing, and Karen was like, well, it looks like everything's a total loss. And Pam tells her not totally, and she gives her the check that Zach left for her, and she basically rips it up. And Pam is like, oh my God, like clutching her imaginary purse. Like, girl, no, you didn't just rip up the check. Like, don't be blocking your blessings. And she was like, girl, I'm getting ready to call him. Like, I don't need nothing from him. So she proceeds to call Zach. So Zach, he's still sitting there talking to Andy and Fatima like they don't have no work to do. Zach just sitting there chilling like he worked there once again. So she calls his phone. He looks at it and frowns up like, I ain't answering that. And he slams the phone down, and Andy and Fatima looking at him like, well, what's up? Like, who was that? And Karen, she called back again. So Fatima like, answer the phone. So since Zach acted like he wasn't going to answer the phone, Fatima just grabbed the phone like, hello? So Karen was like, oh, so it's you? She said, yeah, it's me. Like, what's up? Oh, well, since I got you, if you come back to my house again, I'm going to shoot you. Fatima telling her like, look, I hope you got a full clip. And they go back and forth. You know, she calling her a trifling bee, and Fatima telling her, well, girl, you know where I'm at. Pull up. You know, I'm at the firm. You know where it's at. And she was like, oh, you don't think I'm going to come? Blah, blah, blah. And Fatima like, girl, you think you about that life? I am that life. Andy over there scared. Zach sitting there like, Fatima, give me the phone, like as if he couldn't grab his own phone, you know. He was so annoyed, and he ended up getting his phone back. And instead of him hanging up the phone, he sits there and lets Karen curse him out and chew him out, telling him, oh, I don't want none from you. I want you to just leave me alone. You know, you don't have to do nothing for this baby. I'll take care of this baby. And you over there playing house with that bee. Don't act like I won't come over there and F her up. Just slap going off. He's not really entertaining it. You're pregnant. You're out of your body. And, you know, she's like, the baby has nothing to do with this. You know, going on and on. He didn't really get upset with her at all. He's just keeping his calm, and that's making her madder. Like, that's all you got to say. And Zach like, look, you know, I'm getting ready to hang up. Just have a nice day. So he finally hangs up the phone. The whole time Karen is ranting and raving, Aaron is trying to calm her down, and he's basically kind of getting slapped around and pushed around. And she's like, move out my way, don't talk to me, talking to Aaron and Pam. And she ends up pushing them off of her, and Aaron is like, you know, you don't need to go over there by yourself. Pam is like, Aaron, you need to stop her, and blames it on the hormones again. So back at the law firm, Fatima, Zach, and Andy, they're sitting there talking about Karen, and Andy's phone rings, and it's her. So she's like, oh my God, I'm going to step outside to take this call. So Zach was in favor of her stepping outside. Fatima is telling her, no, you need to answer it right here. So it was like a tug of war between the two, between what Zach is saying and what Fatima is saying. So Andy was like, oh, I'm scared. I'm like, not acting like a little church mouse, but be bossing up the people in the other time. Andy is so weird to me. So anyway, she ends up taking the call outside. So Karen on the phone talking about, show him the email, show him. And Andy keeps saying, show him what? So of course, you know, Fatima done came out, and she was like, show us what? What she wants you to show us? So Fatima was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. You forgot I got your emails. I got access to your emails. So Fatima pulled up her phone or whatever. And supposedly Karen sent Andy an email stating that Zach was the father of the child. So Fatima and Zach, they're standing there like their world done came to an end. And I'm like, child, I still don't give a damn. Just knowing that Karen is requesting another DNA test in season 7, it just makes you not really care even more. Like, why are we talking about this now when you still are not sure in season 7? Now, when the blood test actually comes back from that DNA test, then maybe we can officially say that it's Zach's baby. But as for right now, with some emails sent from somewhere, no, I just don't have it to do. So anyway, later we see Karen. She done made it to the law firm, child. She greeting people, smiling and cheesing, walking through, looking around. Andy, she runs out like, Karen, what are you doing here? Let's go over here and talk. Karen like, no need. She was like, well, what are you doing here? She said, I'm here for a reason. She said, well, what's the reason? We see Fatima pull up in the blue. We see the blonde hair. And all of a sudden, Karen pulls out her little weapon and she shoots. And we see the body flop on the ground. And Andy, she's kind of delayed, but she runs and screams like to go help Fatima, I guess. And Karen looks like, oh well, whatever. And the episode ends there. So what did you guys think of this mid-season finale? They spent a lot of time on the Maurice situation, and we still really don't have any more new information to go on. It was just a lot of repetitive stuff there. We had the comedy relief part with Preston and Danny. And basically that was it until we got to the ending. And do I think Karen actually shot Fatima? Somebody has a very vivid imagination, and I don't know who's daydreaming or sleep or whatever, but I don't think it's real. We know Fatima is still alive. We see Karen clearly in the trailer talking to Aaron and talking to the girls on the couch, so she's not in jail. And I would hope that Karen wouldn't actually walk up into anyone's place of business after making threats and actually get a bond. I mean, we saw Maurice and Sabrina get more time for less. So, I mean, I don't think she actually got a bond, and that's why we see her in the trailer. I think that would just be ridiculous. But anyway, drop down in the comments and let me know what you guys thought about this mid-season finale. Do you think Karen actually pulled up, or is somebody dreaming? Put it down in the comments. That was the episode, so we'll just wait for episode 12 sometime in October. So until then, you guys, I appreciate all of the support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.